We're going to call the meeting to order, so would the commissioners please behave? Pay attention.
Short meeting today.
Oh, yeah, I want to get out in the rain too.
Me too.
Oh, hi. It's nice you could make it. All right, meeting's here. Roll call has been taken.
Yes.
That was easy this morning. It's the first thing on our agenda is helmet shield presentation for Hannah Paulson on successful completion of 1 year probation period.
Yep.
Yeah, come on up here.
So Hannah started with us on July 9th of 2018. She had ridden with us prior to that, so we knew her. She'd been in classes with some of our instructors, and very happy to say that she passed her 1 year probation. So Hannah, or as she's more affectionately known to her shift as Helen, I present the commission to you and Commissioner Keogh. Somebody turned off the light, thanks Mayor. Will present your shield to you.
Thought maybe I was having a stroke. Oh. Hannah, congratulations, and welcome to the fire community, and particularly on behalf of the commission, and we represent the citizens of the city. So from the city of Marshfield, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you can all stay if you like.
Yeah, feel free.
Thanks.
Well, I made the offer anyway.
Are they coming? No.
All right. Approval of the minutes of our October 14th regular meeting. Motion to approve, thank you. Second, thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns, changes, edits, whatever? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of fire department bills. Chief Owen.
Good morning. You have two sets of bills in front of you. One was signed by Commissioner Keogh on August 19th, the other by Commissioner Gershman on September 4th. Really, the only thing that stood out as bringing to your attention is on 5F, and that is a purchase of about $205,000 for the new ambulance. It is here in-house. If anyone is interested after the meeting, Deputy Chief Bacus can show you it, talk about it. It's his baby. It was his group, and he'll be happy to do that. But other than that, I didn't really see anything else that struck me as out of the ordinary. I'd be happy to answer any questions and ask for your approval.
Motion to approve the fire department bills. Thank you. Second, thank you. Any questions or comments about the fire department bills? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I have been reminded that that requires a roll call. Would the commission secretary, administrative assistant, one who runs everything, the roll call?
Myers?
Yes.
Earl?
Yes.
Gershman?
Yes.
Dees? Yes. Keel?
Yes. Thank you. Motion carried. Approval of the police department bills.
Yes, good morning. Two sets of bills. August 21st was signed by Commissioner Meese, September 4th by Commissioner Gershman. The only thing to really bring to your attention on 6E, there was a purchase for $487 for some lighted stop panels that would normally be used by our adult school crossing guards. They do have their own budget that they didn't have the money for these lighted paddles for stopping traffic when they direct kids and stop traffic for other pedestrians around the school zones. So we made that purchase out of the police budget for the adult school crossing guards for their use. So that's the only thing to bring to your attention. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. How much money do they have in their budget on an annual basis?
It's small. It's about enough to cover their wages and maybe a couple repairs or replacement uniforms.
Okay.
I don't have the exact budget amount in front of me, but the money was not there this year to make this purchase.
Any other comments or questions? Motion to approve the police department bills. Thank you. Second to that motion. Thank you. Again, any comments, any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Nope, we've got to be a roll call. Thank you.
Myers,
Yes.
Earl.
Yes.
Gershman.
Yes.
Neese. Keel.
Yes. Motion carries. Fire department activities, training reports, and correspondence. Chief.
Yes, August was another busy month for us. Couple of things to bring to your attention. On 7A and 7B, you'll notice there were some training sessions with each shift, and Officer Bornbach from the police department, he came over to go over Narcan and overdose response procedures and suggestions, and we did some training with him. We did a little summary of the Appleton incident.
Excuse me.
It was very, very well.
Appleton incident.
Where firefighter paramedic one guard was killed on a medical call as a result of this type of call.
Yeah.
So we had that. It was very well received by our members. Also, this month, each shift went through training with Paige, who is the athletic trainer at the high school. They reviewed procedures and practiced with removal of football gear and what to do with football injuries. Everybody also toured the new sports complex. Other than that, several thank you notes and cards. We got a lot of thank you notes this month. The monthly statistics are in there, and I'd be happy to answer any question and ask that you accept and place on file.
Questions or comments? Do we need a motion for that? Huh? Oh, thanks. We'll do that. The next item on our agenda is review of the fire department policy draft. All right. Scott has started us off with a draft that he prepared. It is a draft. We can discuss it today, but it seems to me, and you can correct me if you feel differently, that trying to rewrite or correct or change in a meeting is one of those things that just, as an old academic, professors love to do that, and they take forever doing it. So if you have comments or questions that you would like out in the open now, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm going to suggest we treat this as a first draft. Bring it back to our next meeting in an amended form, and then begin talking about approval. I don't know what the rest of the commissioners think about that as an approach. Mike, you've been through these kinds of things a lot. What's your reaction?
No, I mean, it is clearly marked a draft, and if anybody would have any question, I mean, I'll be trying to raise those questions and possibly make any changes, then the next time around we could approve the final. Yeah, that would, you're right on, sir.
So if we had comments or specific things, could we mark this document up and maybe we together collate it and then give those comments back?
Yeah,
Somehow,
that-
we need to filter the information versus do it publicly.
Yeah, I was going to finish with the suggestion that if you have, and that's my thing, if you have comments or suggestions, that they can all come to me, or go to everybody, we can circulate them. And between now and our next meeting, together, we can attempt to rewrite as we see fit, as we choose. There are some things in here that I think need to be removed, for example. I'm not sure I want to, if we start discussing it in a group like this morning, we're going to be here forever because it should say whom and not who.
So by process, can I ask a question? So this is a draft that you prepared. Does it have to go, like, would it come to us first and then go to human resources? Human resources, I'm assuming, has to be involved.
No, they don't.
They don't, attorney review, so for legal ease, it has to be reviewed. So could you
There should
explain
be
the
a legal
process?
review. The commission has the authority to do as it sees fit with policy for both the police and fire departments. At least one police and fire commission that has optional powers has their own HR staff. We use the city's HR person because she's willing to help us, but she does not have to be involved.
I have a question. Would it be appropriate to have a special meeting of the commission to go through this document?
Probably, but I would want to make sure that we individually have our concerns in order before we do that. And I wasn't sure that everyone had a chance to get through it as carefully as they might.
Well, it's hard to read with that draft stamp in the center of it. So maybe we could have this thing without the draft on it. Be easier to read it.
I did email it out. It got emailed out in PDF and Word, so.
And do all of them have the word draft across the page?
They do, but on the electronic version, it doesn't, for some reason, it prints out goofy when it's scanned like that.
How about doing it without the draft across the face of the document, put draft in the upper
I
corner,
can do that if you want.
and then send it again so it's easier to read. And then, yeah, do it PDF too, because some of us just can't read city emails. And when I talk to Ing about it, he looks at me like I'm speaking Uzbekistan. Stani, whatever the term would be.
So the answer is yes, it will go through legal review?
The legal review it will.
Okay. So, and then after legal review, then we would approve that. We
Hmm.
provide our comments, then it goes to legal review,
Yeah,
then it comes back.
that's correct. Anything else? Mike, you want to deal with some stuff at this meeting?
I guess, is there something of substance that, needs to be changed, or is it all grammatical? I mean,
No,
being
there's
the
some-
teacher review and all, I can understand, but,
No, there's substance, I think, that needs to be changed.
okay. Cause I've gone through it, and actually, it's a well-drafted document, but it gets to the point of what we're looking for in regards to a policy in place that we can go by, but, not being a professional, not being in that profession, I guess I didn't have anything really of substance change, but you can open my eyes too, I suppose.
Well, I think there is some substantive change going to be required. And without getting into a deep discussion about it, the role of the union in this process needs to be changed.
Okay. I'm kind of like, I like the idea that Gordy had to have this meeting just to address this, because
How about the rest of you?
it's significant enough to do that.
Randy?
I'm okay with having a separate meeting. I would like to follow your outline that we do share some concerns on the document and then work on some amendment and then have another meeting.
All right.
I think it's important enough. I'd also like to take another look at the police department one just as a comparison. I think that would be reasonable too.
Yes.
I think they're two different animals, though, two different professions. And I think each one of the policies for one department or another are geared for the individual departments. What the firefighters do isn't what the cops are gonna do, and vice versa. So, I think it wouldn't hurt to review the police one again, but
Well,
I
it's going
think
to
I learned through this process that they're two distinct, different departments, and what their functions are and their physical involvement are two different things. So,
well, we can certainly get a copy of the police and have it available to us. And Scott, you were right the other day. There is in the union contract some stuff at the very end about.
Which is included in this.
Yeah. So as I take the position of the commission at this point is to review it, comment on it, have our concerns or whatever clearly articulated, and then come back in a separate meeting specifically to discuss this, let's say in 2 weeks. Would that be all right? Peggy, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to get us organized.
Okay.
All right, we'll set that aside then for the meeting in 2 weeks. And I appreciate doing it that way. I think it makes sense. Police Department activities and training reports and correspondence. Chief Gramza.
Yes, just a couple things to bring to your attention. August 5th was Josh Larson's first day with us. The 5th through the 7th, Assistant Chief Zeps and myself were at a training conference in Green Bay, a semi-annual police chiefs or police administrators conference. 14th and 15th, Lori Kirkstrom had meetings and also performed homeless counts up in the Wausau area. This is through a homeless coalition that it works throughout central and north central Wisconsin. Yeah, Assistant Chief Zeps had a intern meeting at Mid-State Technical College on the 21st. This is just to make sure that all agencies utilizing the that are accepting of interns from the tech are all on the same page, and their newer, I guess, program coordinator knew what the expectations of each individual department was. Our Detective Bureau had a coffee with a cop on the 28th of August, and Assistant Chief Zeps also went down to Wood County on the 30th of August to assist with some promotional interviews. Be happy to answer any questions on those activities.
Questions or comments? Thank you, Chief Gramza. It occurs to me, going back to the policy draft from the fire department. I know that Chief Owen spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on that, and he's given us a good start. I think 90% of it's going to be fine, but there's some things that we would like to look at. So thank you for the effort in getting getting us going anyway. Review and approve police department drone policy. Are we approving all of it or just the first page?
Well, you should have all of it right now. There's a mix-up in the printing of it, so Pat handed out the official drone policy. It was missing page 2 somehow previous. So what you have in front of you is our drone policy. This is one which our policy, I guess, editor, creator that we utilize, a nationwide system called Lexipol, that they recommend. It's specific to our state as well, so it hits on state statute necessities that you can see throughout. Talks about having a coordinator for the program, when we can use a drone, when it's prohibited for use, and also the retention of any data that's collected from that drone. So I feel that this is comprehensive, and we've made a couple of adjustments just to it highlighted parts of state statute that I felt were important to include completely in this policy, so there was a little bit more added on to this policy. Nothing was removed from it based on what our professionals that we worked with had recommended, just a little bit was added. So I would be happy to answer any questions you have, but otherwise would look for your approval on this policy.
So is the program coordinator obviously somebody within the department? Is it going to be based on a role or a person? How are you going to?
Yeah, it would most likely be either Pat or one of our lieutenants that would be considered the coordinator. We actually had one of our lieutenants step forward and say that they're interested in being an operator, so that might be a good fit to have them in that coordinator role as well. But ultimately, it would be a position within the organization.
And so then everybody has to be, whoever is the operators then have to be trained. Do you have an idea of how many operators you would like?
Ideally, I'd like to minimally have 1 per shift, preferably 2 per shift, just in case one is gone. They would all be trained through the, I believe it's national standards that they have to take, certain testing, certain courses that they'll have to take. Nobody has gone through that yet. We are waiting for this to be approved. And for last month's budget resolution for the purchase to be approved. But, so I mean, there could be as many as 8 to 10 individuals that are trained in operation within the organization. I believe when I solicited for interest, I think there was 10 that said that they were interested.
And
How
then,
soon are you planning on purchasing it?
Probably within the coming weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
After you do, could you bring it to one of these meetings and show it to
Absolutely.
us?
Yep.
If we're gonna fly it in this room, I prefer a trained operator.
We don't need to fly in here, I'd just like to see what it looks like.
I wanted to see it.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Any video capture and things like that, is there policy set up for maintaining the video capture?
Yep. On 606.6, it talks about retention of any data. So that would be any video or any photos that are taken would fall under our normal retention guidelines, which if it's involving a misdemeanor or felony, chances are that we're maintaining those indefinitely. If it's nothing of evidentiary value, we would be keeping it, I believe, 180 days. I think we're only obligated to keep it 30 days. But all of our data retention, we've made more so, to err on the side of caution, made it more so than we're statutorily necessary to. So minimum, anything that was captured would be kept for 6 months.
No weapons,
No weapons.
take all fun.
We had a brief conversation. Is there something in current policy about this, and what happens to that?
So that was mistaken. This was in current policy. We removed it when we didn't have a drone program.
Yeah, okay.
So it was just kind of hidden in the background. So the policy manual that you approved as a body back in 2017 did not include this,
Okay.
but
So
it will
basically,
now once.
yeah,
once
this is
meeting-
new policy being added to the policy manual for
Correct.
the department.
Correct.
Good. Any other comments or questions?
This is sort of unrelated to the policy, but, so, is this is considered a city asset? So if there were a need for the fire department or some other department to use it, that would be part of it would be called in just like any other time?
Oh, no, no. It belongs to the police department. Fire department can't use it.
Well, not use it, but use it with.
I'll just bring mine in.
It's like a mutual aid thing, you know, like this
Right.
is used for many purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, although, I guess we're making the purchase, it's a piece of city equipment. We've actually had requests potentially for Marshfield Utilities to be able to either use it or benefit from the use of it, I guess, for inspecting some of their towers and things. So, yeah, any vehicle crash, any fire where thermal imaging would be beneficial on this. The fire department would be more than welcome to either use it or have us use it for them on their behalf. So, yeah, absolutely.
Good. Anything more?
Motion to approve.
Second.
So we have a motion, we have a second to approve the policy number 606, unmanned aerial system operations. Any additional comments or questions before we vote? This would require roll call. Okay, we'll vote by roll call.
Myers,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.
Gershman.
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is everything okay?
Everything's good.
Is there any other business that the commissioners would like to bring before the assembly? All right, as a conclusion to this meeting, we have decided we will go over the fire department draft for, what is the language we use? But anyway, we know what we're talking about. We'll do that individually. We'll point out the things that we're concerned about. We'll come together in 2 weeks, go through the draft, make any corrections or changes we see fit, get it back to the chief, and then we can do something with it at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I just want to say, I think it's a good step forward on the part of the department to have something established for standards and for a program to bring people up to standards or maintain those standards. So it's a good step forward for the department. It's important enough that I think that we take the time to take a good hard look at it before we
Yep.
approve it.
Yeah, I agree.
I have one other question. The references, are those, I haven't looked, but would those be electronic, available online? Yep. Yeah.
Anything more? If there are no, there is no additional business to bring before the assembly, I think the chair can say we're adjourned.